welcome to the Big Fat Gay Podcast, where we talk about the things that are weighing on our minds. I'm Dan Oliverio, author, public speaker, and chubby chaser, and today I am in my bomb-free backyard. Yes, those of you listening in the future, we have dropping bombs on foreign countries, but right here in sunny Los Angeles, all is well. All is sunny.
We're recording this on Sunday in case anything changes. By the way.
Yeah, there's a few days for that to not be the case anymore.
Yeah. I'm Trevor Keyson. I'm a super chub. I'm a, I don't know, time is a fat circle. History repeats itself. It's the 21st birthday of American Idiot and September Boy. We're vibing. We're looking forward to bigger Vegas. We're in the world.
Hi, my name is Michael Willer. I'm a chubby chaser, and today I'm a sleeping boy. Today, because I'm actually getting real sleep for the first time in some number of years, and it feels phenomenal.
Huzzah!
Yay! I wrote somebody last night that was like, oh yeah, apparently we bombed Iran, so brace yourself. And they were like, I'm going to be so pissed if the end of the world happens before Bigger Vegas.
Hey there, my name's Don. I'm a big chubby guy, and for some reason today I'm weirdly obsessed with all my good socks have holes in them, and I have to replace them all before Bigger Vegas. I don't know why.
Interesting.
That's just on my head, but I can't go to Bigger Vegas with holy socks. Just can't do it.
All right. Well, as always, we'd like to thank our patrons and our partners everywhere for everything. You can save 15% off your bearskin order with promotional code BigFatGayPod. And you can use our Big Fig link to throw us a little cash if you're looking for a new mattress on Big Fig.
I'm curious if there's going to be Big Figs at the vendor hall at Bigger Vegas.
Oh, yeah. That would be great.
If you want to stay in touch with us, sign up for our Discord or sign up for our new newsletter, which I've been creating. And we just had 3 new subscribers to our newsletter. So, ta-da.
Excellent.
I also want to point out there has been some great discussion happening post episodes in our Discord. So if you have feelings, if you're the person in their car who is just talking to the recording, yes, you listener who's talking right now, you can go talk in the Discord and make some friends. And it's just really fun. I did a little Michael Scott tearing up gif in response to like seeing community happen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to encourage the listener in their car to pull over
first. Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yes.
Very wise. Very wise.
And of course, we're going to give one little shout out here to our Bigger Vegas live episode. We're counting down. It's for those of you who still don't know, it's July 4th in Bigger Vegas at 12 p.m. It is a badged event. So if you're not registered for the event, I don't know what happens then. You can watch us live.
Yeah, exactly. You can also watch the stream of that same live episode. So we're going to be streaming using our platform Riverside. We'll disperse that link everywhere you could possibly go to find it, so that if you want to listen to the episode and you can't make it to the in-person, you'll be able to hear it that way. We will also be doing an edit of said episode, which will come out the following week.
Yes.
Obviously, not everyone can be available at 12 o'clock on 4th of July, so there's that as well.
Yeah.
I also would like to apologize in advance to everybody who's coming to Bigger Vegas. It's currently 75 degrees in Vegas, and unfortunately, that weather is unlikely to last. So it'll probably skyrocket back up.
Are we going to be in full heat dome when that happens?
I anticipate triple digits for sure.
It's going to be hot as balls, people. Hot as
that's usually
balls.
what happens here. 75 degrees in the summertime is unheard of.
Drive us into the pool.
We'll bring out the dancing penguins.
Dancing in the Arctic. The tuxedo isn't too hot at all here.
The vibes right now are the penguins come out in Vegas and they just burst into flame. So speaking of Vegas, if you are going to Vegas via Southwest, there's some changes to some of their policies that you need to know about. So Dan and I experienced this firsthand, but there was an article in the San Diego Union Tribune talking about Southwest sky caps being eliminated at some airports. So if you've flown Southwest, maybe you have, when you arrive at the airport, use the outdoor sky cap where you can get your tickets, you can check your bags. It is a very handy service for customers of size, for disabled passengers, for elderly passengers. It is just a faster way to get rid of your bags and get your tickets. So their Southwest run SkyCap has now been replaced. This article is from the end of May. But they were talking about how San Diego was one of just the 10 remaining airports among the 52 SkyCap locations in the Southwest network that was using airline employees. Some use airline employees, some use Southwest employees. Most of those have now been transitioned over to using Bags, which is a third-party provider.
What happened was there were almost 60 airports where Southwest had SkyCaps. However, only 10 of these were Southwest employees. But here's the problem. We don't know which 10 airports. And those 10 airports have now switched over. So now they've made all baggage handling outside the airport third party. And Bags is one of the contractors that does this. How it impacts us is, A, we don't know which airport changed. Well, we do now because Midway, apparently, because that's our anecdote. But like, for example, LAX, I don't know if it's always been third party. And so nothing's going to change for us. And the problems that Trevor and I are going to talk about, that actually is on the third party. And we're not clear whether they could avoid that if they had a better system. It's all very woolly is the problem because we don't actually know where it's changed. And if it has changed, what the impact is.
So what's the actual effect? Like, is the service changing? Are you still able to check in at the updated Bags managed SkyCap or?
Yes. Okay. So it was June 8th. We were at Midway Airport. We go to the, what used to be the Southwest SkyCap, and we see these signs posted about, there is a fee to check your bags at the Southwest SkyCap. This is on top of now paying a fee for check bags.
Right, which Southwest implemented as an update to their free bag policy.
Yeah. So we were just trying to figure out, what is this? We're in line. We're deciding, do we want to get out of line and just go inside?
Well, also remember the sign says, and by the way, you have to have your boarding pass. And we're like, we've never had our boarding pass to interact with SkyCap.
That's where we've gotten our boarding passes because as a customer of size, usually I can't print off my boarding passes myself.
Right. You have to go up to the counter and get them to give you the reserve ticket and all that.
And so there were these two Bags employees, and then there was a Southwest employee just kind of at like a little floating desk off to the side. I think trying to wrangle, because this was still very new. And they were saying, this just started like 2 weeks ago. So the Southwest employee came over to us. She's like, I'll get you your tickets, because no one had tickets because they were expecting to get them at the SkyCap. Then we finally get to the front to check our bags. They can't check my bags because their system doesn't recognize me because I have my second seat.
Oh, my God.
Well, because they couldn't process it. I think he maybe got the baggage tags from the Southwest employee, but he couldn't bring it up in his system because it was just because Southwest should be doing this.
Point of clarification. So what happened was, remember, you have to pay a fee for the service on top of the fee for the bag, but we bought the tickets early enough that we didn't have the fee for the bag, so he's trying to charge us so he actually just charged me because I have the normal ticket that they can And by the way, when they say charge the fee for baggage handling, that is really just you sitting there with your phone the way you'd buy coffee with your phone, like beep. There is no, it doesn't go through the airline. It is a third party contractor. So you're literally just charging the phone or you're handing them a $5. And because Trevor's ticket was so special to Southwest, they're like, you know what? Just go. Don't worry about it.
And it's disappointing because Southwest used to be this beacon of the friendly, they're the smile, the little heart, I can't remember all their marketing stuff, but they were the fun, friendly airline.
The love. They had the love. Remember the love?
Yeah.
We are seeing in real time the enshittification of Southwest Airlines.
And what this does, they're claiming it is streamlining. This is part of a massive cost-cutting measure all across Southwest, from losing employees in administration to the baggage handling. And unfortunately, it's not an outlier. This simply brings Southwest more in line with every other airline, which is the problem.
Yeah.
And we're waiting for next year. They're going to change their open seating policy to assigned seating, or we have no idea what that means for their current extra seat policy.
Yes. But it's another added stress to travel of now, should I just not use the SkyCaps because they can't get me a wheelchair? I can't get my boarding pass from them. They can't check my bags if I do have a boarding pass because they can't run it through their system. And now there is also an update to their customer of size policy, which I think has changed a couple of times during the course of this podcast.
So as Michael mentioned, they are going to go to assigned seating. And there's a long history of why they hadn't. No, it was not because, hey, we're so friendly. It was simply because they never had the software to do it. They never had the software to track and charge for baggage. That's why they didn't do it. But now they have decided, since that snafu where their entire system broke down because they couldn't contact their own employees because they didn't have the software for it. They are doing a massive overhaul. And part of that is, hey, why don't we have assigned seating? Because we can charge for it. We can do all these cool things. The question has then been, what does that do to the customer of size policy, which had been, hey, just show up fat. Show up fat. We'll get you an extra seat. Hey, no problem. We'll handle it as an overbooking because, hey, we always overbook. That has now gone away. So here's the current status. I suspect this is in anticipation of the change that Michael was saying of assigned seating. So right now, you can no longer just show up fat and expect to get a second seat. If there is room in the plane, they're happy to give it to you. However, as you know, as you have frequently heard if you've flown Southwest, this is a full flight, ladies and gentlemen. This is a full flight.
Yeah. Every flight is overbooking.
Yeah. I should say that we did have one flight that was only 70% booked. So there are exceptions.
Yeah. Well, that's happening more.
Yeah.
Because I think people are not flying Southwest because they're losing all of the perks.
Yeah. So here's the change. You can still buy 2 seats as a fat person. You know, you put in your first and last name, and then the second seat is your first name, XS, as in extra seat, and then your last name. And they're still the only airline that allows you to book 2 seats online without talking to anybody.
Yeah, that is still in place.
And you will be charged for 2 seats, and they've streamlined the refund process. You get refunded for your second seat at the end of travel. Most people don't do this, however. We do, because we think it's a great little perk, but most people don't do this. They just show up fat. The gate agent handles it. No muss, no fuss, no outlay of cash. That is what's going away, the show up fat thing. If you know it's going to be a full flight, which is probably the case, and you want to make sure you have that second seat, you do have to now book 2 seats, pay for 2 seats. 1 will be refunded.
And depending on how far in advance you book your seats, you are going to be out that cash until you do your flights and complete them, and then you can be refunded.
They will be holding that capital, yeah.
If you have big feels about this, as I know I do, you can go to NAFA.org/Southwest and sign NAFA's petition for Southwest to address all of these issues and work with disabled passengers, plus size passengers, elderly passengers, to make these changes work for flyers.
Yeah.
Because they are not really thinking about the harm that these changes can do and cutting off all kinds of people from an airline that used to be very friendly for them and now is not.
Yeah. And actually, I think that's a really good point of transition, Trevor, because more and more of the public, as we'll see in this next article, more and more customers are fat, and there are fewer and fewer accommodations for fat people. So it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. Let's move on to something a little more positive. Let's get that Fat Watch Eagle.
Fat Watch 2025.
Take a deep breath with me.
It's a relax your jaw, feel the cool air and that orange smell. We're flying over the orange groves.
So we have an article in Q City Metro by Amanda Harry, which is really fantastic. It's titled Black-Owned Boutique to Open 30,000 Square Foot Store at Concord Mills Mall. The plus-size clothing shop called Juice Body Goddess had a previous location that wasn't working out for a variety of reasons, and have moved to this massive new retail space inside a mall. It used to be a Forever 21, and they, I guess, shut down all of their stores in North America.
They did.
So, like, we just literally took those skinny little mannequins and fattened them up. And
more on that later.
Yeah, exactly. And the owner, Summer Lucille, there's this lovely article about her and about her store and kind of the success story of moving into this new space, because they had their grand opening. And as you can see in some social media, it is packed. It's packed with people.
Yeah.
Like flying out the door.
It looks so huge in the photos.
So they were at this other mall. The mall was on the decline. All the anchor stores had pulled out. Apple had pulled out. A bunch of stores had pulled out. And the owner of, what's it called? Juicy
Body Goddess.
Juicy Body Goddess. she was stuck there because she had signed a 5-year lease.
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing. The mall underwent new owners. And here's what I think. I think she got recruited by this new mall. But here's the thing that as a business person just shocks me. She is going from a 3,500 square foot store in the old mall to a space nearly 10 times bigger.
Wow.
Yeah.
A 35,000 square foot store.
Wow.
That is a massive difference in your business model. I hope they can handle it. The one advantage that they say is that maybe they'll be able to get rid of their 15,000 square foot storage area. But that is a massive transition. As someone who has some familiarity with scaling up an operation, that is enormous. That's an enormous difference in business.
It's also a great opportunity for franchising. Like if this pays off, we might see more juicy body goddesses around the country.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
And I think it's also cool that the article goes into some of the details around this and not just sort of like, I don't know, I wouldn't call it a fluff piece, but sort of a general reporting of the new location that like, you know, it's 67% of retail clothing shoppers are plus size women.
67%. You get that 67%. And how much of the market is devoted to them?
19%, according to this linked statistic. So it's phenomenal that deficit is still there. And it kind of explains why you could take a space and literally move it up 10 times as large. If the grand opening is any indicator, you look at this picture and the people are lined up waiting to get in with stanchions in the halls of the mall that the store is in.
I love to see this glow up for GC Body Goddess because I feel like I've maybe shared some stuff about them before in the work they do. They do fantastic videos on Instagram of these girls who very often have come from out of state to come to their store to do prom dress fittings, and just getting to see these girls come in very hesitant and then try on all these dresses and get to see themselves in these amazing looks and just the joy that comes over them. And then there's been times where they've given away the prom dress because it's like, you know, the mom can't afford it. And it's like, we want to gift this to you because it's like, this will make such a difference to you. And also it's having these videos is great promotion. And that's why people are coming from out of state to come to the store because they see all of these dresses on bodies that look like them.
When Trevor says out of state, we're not talking South Carolina. We're talking Wisconsin.
Yes.
We're talking like across the country.
Thousands of miles for people.
I think my favorite is the little thing they posted on Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah.
When some skinny teens wandered into the store by accident. And I love this so much.
Yes.
It's a video of these skinny teens, 2 women and a guy, wandering around the racks, kind of like very confused.
I'm a plus size store. Because you know my motto, you got to be two something to do something. You got to be, look at you. I'm about to get at it. Go ahead, boo. But little people are welcome. We have a shoe department. We have jewelry. We have
I love that.
Some hats, some donuts. Come on. Yes. We give everybody that don't weigh 200 pounds donuts. We got to get your pants. Yeah, we got some donuts. Get some. I get it. Yeah, right. Get your donut. Yes. We got to get your weight up. It's free. Take a child. Get your donut. Go ahead, baby. Yeah, keep that weight up. Well, he was over to a time. Oh, once a turn of time? Yeah. Oh, that's why you feel so comfortable in here.
Seemingly at least one of the people there, like used to be fat and is, I guess, showing up either to support or at least check it out. And
I think my favorite thing about this is her pointing out we got jewelry and shoes.
That I love that so much.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It is my experience of going to any mainstream department store. You can get something to hang from your ears, around a wrist, or on your feet. That's all we have for you.
Well, I think where it comes from is fat person wanders into the store. The salesperson comes up and says, "May I help you?" And the fat person says, "Well, I'm not sure you have my size here," or "I need a size 24," whatever they say. And the salesperson has to basically have some version of, "No, we're not for you." And sometimes that comes out as like, "Oh, well, we have some lovely hats."
I don't even think it's that. I think it's that fat people go into the store. If you're the fat friend, you go into the store, nothing's going to fit you.
Yeah.
So you drift towards like, oh, I'm going to look at like the purses and the jewelry. Yep. And a thin person does not know that. So it's like, oh, you have to go to the jewelry or shoes because the clothes don't fit you.
Yeah.
Right.
That like thin people don't have the experience of not knowing what to do in a store where you don't fit in the clothes.
You're literally sharing your experience with the thin people.
Yeah. And by the way, the whole thing of like pushing the donuts on the thin people, I kind of love that. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Mr. Pinky in
I was going to say that. I was just saying that to Trevor. Yeah. From Hairspray, where they go there and then Edna's like negotiating and she says, eat your donuts. Because there's a tray of donuts.
Because he has free donuts. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really good vibes. This article was from May 19th. So there's been some time. June 13th was their grand opening. So we're wishing them the best and very excited for Summer Lucille and all of their customers.
Yeah, indeed. So, to lead into our main topic tonight, a story. This happened to me yesterday. I was at a party, and first off, let me lead off that I'm going to be talking about 3 people who I am fairly certain do not listen to this podcast.
Okay.
But just in case one of them might happen to stumble upon it, let me just say, I love all 3 of these people. All 3 of them are delightful, lovely, good individual people.
None of these people were harmed in the making of this podcast.
Exactly. So let me just say that because I'm going to be a little blunt on some of the ways that some of these people communicated. So I was at this party and these 2 people show up, a couple that I haven't seen in probably between 6 and 8 years at this point, quite some time. I don't know if they were a Chubb and Chaser couple. They've never defined themselves that way to me. But they were definitely bi-sized couple.
Bisexual.
They like size diverse couple, right?
A mixed size couple.
One of them a bigger guy like me. The other very, very fit, professionally fit. The larger gentleman in the couple has lost a lot of weight over the past 8 years, right? So he shows up at the party. I haven't seen him, but he showed up with more weight loss than I think he was planning, that I certainly imagined for him, right? I don't want to point fingers and say anything, but he showed up at a body size that was so drastically different from what we'd known before. I think he looked, let me put it this way. Like when I first saw him, my first reaction was not, oh, you've lost weight. It was, oh no, you're sick.
Whoa.
Right. That was my first reaction. Took me a second to adjust and keep my opinion to myself. Not my place. Right.
Right.
But I am happy to see him. So I greet him, I give him a hug, I give my boyfriend a hug, and the gentleman that lost weight goes out to the pool. I'm sitting inside talking with the boyfriend. And then a third mutual friend comes up to us who is a wit, right? I think we all know the type. He is an aspiring Oscar Wilde. He is genuinely funny, but sometimes that wit can come out a little acerbic.
Yeah.
So he comes up, he's like, oh, wow, you have to congratulate your boyfriend on his loss. Like, what an amazing achievement. How good for him. Did he overshoot a little bit, though? I think maybe we should, like, do we need to have a little talk with him? But,
God.
And so the boyfriend was not prepared for this conversation, says nothing. Right?
No. Thin people rarely are.
Yeah. And I'll say, like, that wasn't the only maybe a little inappropriate bit. Like, there was some other stuff there, but the body stuff is what stuck with me. And then later on that night, that other friend cornered me, and I was feeling a little uncomfortable at that point, but he comes after, and it becomes clear in the conversation he brings up that he is genuinely worried about this guy's health, right? In a real way.
The acerbic one who made the comments.
The acerbic one who made the comments. I begin to realize, like, oh, you're serious. Like, you actually have genuine concerns for this person.
Well, you said yourself he looked sick.
Yeah, but the way it came out, right? I couldn't understand what he was saying. Well, it came out as this sort of snide, backhanded compliment where apparently he's genuine about his concern. So sometimes these comments people are making can be completely misleading as to what direction they're going in.
I feel like there's a lot of things to unpack here, but I just want to kind of say up front, like, that kind of comment makes a massive assumption that this guy is somehow not aware of his own incredible weight loss and not aware of his own health conditions, whatever they may be.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we've got to tell him about this. No, you fucking don't.
And to add more context, the gentleman who lost weight seem to be very happy, very enthusiastic to be there, and super pleased to be in the environment, right?
Yeah.
Now, do you know if the comedian was
the acerbic wit?
Yeah. Did he know them from before as well, or was he?
Yes, he has known them longer than I have, and has additional context in their relationship outside of me.
Okay, so he has that. This guy used to be fat, and probably still thinks of him that way. And now that he's, skinny, feels like he has the right to tell him exactly what size his body should be.
And there's a little bit of body size exchange going on too. In the 10 years, the wit has gotten a little chubbier while the chubby guy has lost some weight.
Oh, that can't make it easier, can it?
There is a little bit of extra context there too.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's number one, there is this thing when your body is outside the norm, people feel this God-given right, this incredible duty, not just privilege, a duty to comment on someone's body. And pregnant women get it, and fat people get it, and muscular people get it, and it's all context how it's handled. But everybody, there's this duty people have to comment on people's bodies if they're outside the norm.
Going into developing this episode, the idea was people make comments about people's bodies, but they do it in such a roundabout, dancey way. Yeah. And that the comment ends up being weird in a way. It's like, what do you mean by
it's
that?
Coded, and you never know exactly what that code is actually trying to convey.
Yeah.
Like this friend last night, the comedian, I believe him later on when he was talking to me privately and expressing private concern. But the way he expressed concern to that boyfriend made him sound just like a dick. And I don't think that was his intention.
No, he's just naturally a dick.
Yeah, he comes by it honestly.
I think the commenting on people's weight loss, but like this very specific type of weight loss where it's like in the way that fat people get the comment of like, they're too fat. I'm not comfortable with how fat they are.
Yeah.
The thin people get the like, okay, you're too thin. I'm not okay with this level of thin. And we saw very public discourse about this last spring, summer with the Wicked press tour.
Yeah.
Really?
With Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, because they both are very thin. And I think it was the thinness combined with they bonded over the film, and it was just like they were very close. They were nonstop press tours. And I think part of it was just like the amount of time we were seeing them do all this press. Because like we made jokes about it on the podcast about like the aggressive marketing of Wicked.
Yeah, it was everywhere.
But the way that people talked about their bodies and the like, well, they look sick and I'm just worried. And like, are they making each other anorexic? And like, are they doing it together? Cause they're just both so thin and you can see their collarbones.
Oh my God. Or they're on a huge press tour.
Or if it's just how they look or whatever, who cares? Yeah. Like, it's not up to us.
It's not relevant. And may I say, just sorry to interject, Trevor, that would not happen if these were two men. Ever.
But I think it would, because when Chadwick Boseman, before he announced his diagnosis, people were commenting about how thin he was and talking about, it must be drugs. And he clearly he's addicted to drugs.
Yeah, well, because he's black. Yeah.
Michael's about to explode.
I would like to add to this that you assume that the black actor is on drugs before you know he's got cancer, which eventually killed him. Also, actors like Christian Bale, who lose massive amounts of weight for their roles, not only are they not criticized, they get lauded for it.
Absolutely.
Everyone says, oh my God, he's so dedicated to his craft. He's such a strong... And he has come out very publicly ever since saying, never do that. Do not do what I did. It was awful. It permanently damaged my body. It was a terrible idea. But he still gets praised for it to this day.
Yeah.
I'm curious, do you get the same impression when people talk about weight gain for roles? We've seen that too. I don't see the same, like I see praise, right? But it's cautious praise. Like
I see it differently. When it's weight loss, it's look at the dedication. When it's weight gain, it's wow, they're so brave.
He took such a bullet for that role.
And the concern of like, God, I hope he can lose it afterwards. You know, there's that.
I usually see articles afterwards about like what sort of health problems they started facing after they gained 20 or 30 pounds for that role.
But it is completely trounced by the public splash of like, and they lost 30 pounds. Read this article to find out how.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There's undeniably a double standard that for sure still exists. It's also entirely possible to lose that amount of weight accidentally if you are being treated for diabetes with the GLP-1.
Yeah.
And we all know, like, that's one of the key side effects / not even a side effect anymore. It's just given to people for weight loss.
It's a side effect if you have diabetes. The side effect is the point if it's like Wegovy, where you're trying to get the side effect as high as possible while you can still tolerate it.
Right. So all of that to say that it's just none of your fucking business. It's just none of your fucking business. And more to the point, why do you care so much? Maybe think about that. Like, it's a you thing. It has nothing to do with the other person.
But I think because all of these things have turned into stories, and there is the cautionary tale of, Chadwick Boseman and all these celebrities being very public with their GLP use, to where people feel they deserve to comment on Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, because we need to know, like,
and we wouldn't know.
They could be sick, and we should be talking about it if they are sick.
Information on their bodies is our right to have.
Yes.
That's the attitude.
It is ridiculous.
That's the thing that became very clear talking with the comic afterwards, was that he was sort of offended that they were keeping back information from him that he felt he had a right to. That was very weird to me.
Oh my God.
We saw when Trevor and I were in Chicago, we happened to tune into The View a number of times. And it was very interesting, something that Whoopi Goldberg said. One point in the show, she's like, it's nobody's business. And on the other hand, she said, well, if you're going to make a thing about it, then it's everybody's business. And I think what she means is, there are some keep your mouth off other people's bodies. But on the other hand, there are a lot of celebrities and especially influencers who are touting all this weight loss stuff. And she was saying, I think in that instance, like, you've made your body a public ground of comment. So we're going to comment.
Yeah. If you've laid out the welcome mat for discussion on your own body.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, but can we just clarify that a little bit? I still don't think that gives people permission to be shitty about it.
No, the internet does that.
It gives you permission to have like a mature discourse.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess my point is, very few people are going to choose not to be shitty about it. And so at that point, is this even still worth defending as like, well, you brought up your body in your social media, so now we get to trash you for it? No, that's not an excuse.
I don't think anyone's advocating for that, though, Michael. I think what I'm saying, though, is if I lay the welcome mat out in front of my body to discuss my fatness, I need to be willing to discuss it with the people who come to talk with it honestly.
Right. But that's what I'm saying, is that how many people do you know are going to bring an honest, measured discussion to it?
Well, I think most people don't think they're being shitty, which is kind of, I think, where this episode comes from, is because people will say something and they think they're being complimentary.
They simply think it's their duty. Like, I have an opinion and it is my duty to share it.
Yes. So I have, I have a personal trainer. I do Pilates. My Pilates instructor, as I've gone through Pilates and transitioned to mat Pilates, so I'm just like, everything I do is my body moving. A lot of it is unassisted.
For context, Trevor does his Pilates via Zoom. And what he means by unassisted is a lot of times Pilates uses machines called performers. This is floor Pilates. So everything he's doing is just him.
Yeah. And maybe I'll have resistance bands or weights or something. Yeah. And there are things that I will do, and my instructor will say like, oh my God, like, that doesn't look real. Like, it looks like it's like CGI or something, or how are you doing this? And like, or he'll be like, oh, it looks like Dan has like ropes and pulleys and he's moving your body from, the other room. And it's, I've never confronted it, because it's like, I'm in the middle of a workout and it's like, I don't even really know what to say. Like, no, it's my body. Like, you've been training me for years. You've seen how much I can do.
You're really just revealing that your own expectations of me are much lower than reality.
Yeah.
It's certainly condescending. It's arguably insulting of like, someone your size, that can't be real. But I have to believe it because you're doing it. Wow. And like, shut up. Shut the fuck up.
If it weren't in front of my eyes, I would never have believed it.
You're way too fat to do that shit. I think there is an analog on the bodybuilder side. I would get things like, oh, didn't expect to see a guy like you here. Or my very favorite, like, how do you respond to this? Like, wow. bet you could beat up a guy. And you're like, what the fuck?
What? Who?
No, because they see muscularity as masculinity and masculinity as aggression. And why would you be that size if you weren't beating everybody up?
Yeah.
And it comes from their own insecurity and their own.
It's very telling of the person saying that.
Exactly. It has everything to do with them, nothing to do with me. But that's the thing. People put their own shit on you and think it's about you.
Yeah. Oh, boy. So my solution for this is just to not do anything in public ever.
Shut up.
I just stay home.
I mean, I am curious. So the kind of idea of this episode was like, what do you mean by that? And I am curious what would happen if more people, fat people, formerly fat people, whatever, when they get one of these comments asked, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
What would I mean, I think it would just be a whole shit show is what I think what would happen.
Yeah.
And it's why we don't ever say that. I think there could be some powerful discussions that I feel like fat people really shouldn't have to take all the emotional labor for what would come from that.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. If you start down the road, it's a very useful tactic to disarm or get the shit out. What do you mean by that? Oh, are you concerned about that a lot? I mean, just to keep using questions until it really becomes about them. The problem is, as you say, Trevor, that is the fat person doing all the emotional labor, taking the time, enduring the nonsense. I like doing that.
And you got to pick who you're going to do it for. Like, you can't do it every time it happens. You know?
No. And I like doing that. I consider it outreach. I consider it part of, an extension of my seminars, my book, this podcast. But I volunteer to take that on. That is not something that fat people should have to do ever.
Yeah. I don't know, unless you really want to.
Well, no, I said not have to, not be obliged to.
Yeah.
It's a choice. It's absolutely your choice. And unfortunately, the alternative, well, I think we've talked about that. It's either, what do you call it, Trevor?
Ice, spice, or nice.
Do you ice them? Do you say something spicy, or do you do it nicely?
I think the takeaway is we should all just be mindful. And I think, as we get ready for Wicked Part 2 and for another assault of Cynthia and Ariana, I don't know, just don't comment on their bodies or the weird, hold space for them to do the little finger hold and just not make it weird. Don't go into talk about their collarbones. Don't talk about their bodies, and shut it down when you see it.
Trevor, do we have a tip this week?
We certainly do. Maybe you're going to Bigger Vegas and you want a little poolside reading, or you're in the Southern Hemisphere and you want some cozy by the fire reading. This is a suggestion from Tigris Osborne, Executive Director of NAFA, who also is a contributor to this book. And the book is Liberation Stories, Building Narrative Power for 21st Century Social Movements. This book was edited by Chanel Matthews, Marzina Zakowska, and the Radical Communication Network. And this book is gathering voices of progressive and leftist communicators, organizers, artists, journalists, and academics to share wisdom on using narrative strategy, political messaging, and storytelling to further the fight for social justice and freedom.
Yay.
So Tigris wrote a chapter with NAFA board chair Amanda Cooper and their colleague Pamela Meha, shifting media narratives away from fat bodies as an issue to be solved and towards anti-fatness as an issue to be solved. Ooh. This looks very great. I think it's this is either a beach read for you or like a lockdown academic study boy read, depending on your personality type. But I know that we have listeners. I know several listeners that are very much like, this is my poolside summer reading jam. So check it out. You can get it on Amazon, but they are asking you to get it from a local independent bookstore. And they, I think, have provided some links that I will copy and share on the episode page.
Nice.
Excellent.
And remember, you can always get something at your local bookstore just by, if you have the ISBN number, you just walk into the store and say, this is the title, this is the ISBN number, and they can order it for you.
It's a good tip. All right. Don's been very excited for this bit, so I'm excited for this bit. Let's do it.
I like this bit because this bit combines two of my favorite things: language and sex. Since we were talking about things that can be hard to understand, or what the hell are you trying to say, I came up with a list of euphemisms. So each of these different categories that I've come up with today have 3 euphemisms about sex and 1 euphemism that is for something else. The game today is pick out the euphemism that has nothing to do with sex.
Okay.
That's not a euphemism, that's a me-fewism.
We have different categories to pick from. Whichever 4 categories you pick, we will do today. Whatever 2 categories are not picked, we will throw over to our online community.
Yes.
Yeah, we got some good answers.
So the categories for today are ingredients for a good time, eating out, touching Mother Nature, I have a fantasy, be gentle with me, or I don't know what this means. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Dan, right. Which category would you like?
Be gentle with me.
Be gentle with me. All right. Which of these euphemisms is not the sexual euphemism? 1, shoot twixt wind and water. 2, assault with a friendly weapon. 3, exploring the hidden valley. Or 4, at peace with the floor.
I think at peace with the floor is not the sexual euphemism.
You are correct. At peace with the floor is a euphemism meaning, do you know? Can you guess it?
No.
Drunk.
Oh, that makes sense.
Oh, I have to use that.
That's funny.
That's a good one, right? I like that one. We're going to work our way around the circle. Trevor.
Eating out.
Eating out. Doing thrusts in the cucumber patch. 2, stuff in the muffin. 3, passing the gravy. Or 4, take the biscuit.
I want to say passing the gravy.
The correct answer is take the biscuit.
I knew it.
It's between those two for me.
I think is a Britishism of take the cake. It basically means the most remarkable or very foolish.
That takes the cake. That takes the biscuit. Yeah. Passing the gravy is way too close to sex to me.
I'm sorry, Brits. Why are you the way that you are?
It's like they keep getting English wrong.
Yeah. I remember my friend, when I was on a vacation, I was trying to find, I think I lost my hat or something. And I went somewhere to look for it. And he's like, oh, did you have any joy?
Oh, any luck.
And that was the first time I heard that. And I just burst out laughing because I immediately got it. But it was like, this is the first time I've ever heard that. And it's,
did you have any joy?
It was just so British and sweet. I called him my little baked bean and he gave me a can of baked beans.
Which he has on his desk.
Yeah. It's like seeing the romance of Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin.
Michael, what category would you like?
There was a different food related one.
There's ingredients for a good time.
Yeah, I want to do that one.
Okay. The 4 in this category are 1, have your corn ground. 2, come the raw prawn.
Okay.
3, give one's arse a salad. Or 4, banana in a fruit salad.
Can you just say the second one again, Don?
Come the raw prawn.
That sounds like a rock band.
I think it's that, actually. I think come the raw prawn.
Really?
I think so.
Okay. Well, in fact, the correct answer is come the raw prawn.
Yay!
Which means to try to deceive, especially by feigning a lack of knowledge.
So playing dumb.
I've never played poker before. Yeah. Could I play in your high stakes game? The 3 of you will have to choose a category together because I know the answer. So it occurred to me I can't pick one.
Well, do you want to pick one to give us?
Oh, that's probably a good idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. I think for our geeks here, we have to go with I have a fantasy.
Okay.
The 4 in this category are riding St. George. 2, open the gates of Mordor.
I should not have taken a drink of water.
3, tickle the dragon's tail. Or 4, slither in the Hufflepuff.
Oh, I desperately wanted to be 4, so I can use it.
I think it's tickling the dragon's tail.
Yeah, I think that's the non-sexual one too.
Yeah.
That maybe is like poke the bear.
That's what I think.
Okay, yeah, I'll go with that too. Tickle the dragon's tail.
And in fact, you all guys are correct. It is to annoy an irritable person.
Yeah,
is the definition of that one.
Yeah, makes sense. Slither in a Hufflepuff. That's amazing.
All right, so our last 2 categories, touching Mother Nature, and I don't know what this means, will get posted on our Discord and maybe get sent out in our newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
And Trevor, if people just can't wait and they desperately want it right now, where could they write us?
We're on Instagram and Blue Sky as at Big Fat Gay Pod. We're on Patreon at patreon.com/BigFatGayPod. See the articles we talk about and rate us a review, 5 stars, all the things. Facebook.com and your preferred podcast platform. See the articles we talked about at www.bigfatgaypod. You know this. I'm not doing this again. We've done this enough times.
No, we are making you do it every time until the end of time.
You know the bit. We've done this. If this is your first episode and you're not still listening at this point.
Next on the Big Fat Gay Podcast, Trevor will tell us how to leave a message on a voicemail.
Maybe this is your first episode and you are just very put out that I did not do the little roll call for you, but it's Bigger Vegas also, so I'm here. So
he's going to get you in person.
Watch out.